type of person he is, right?
Yeah.
He's just a miserable
Yeah.
human
Did she
being.
say right back? I do too.
Well, I told her, I said, you should
She
tell
should,
him,
right?
could
I
you
know.
do it before I come back so I don't have to deal with you?
Could you do it right when we leave so it'll all be taken care of by the time
Yeah.
we get back? Because I can't get these tickets are non-refundable.
Yep.
Yeah, she just told him to grow up. And she goes, I don't care what you say, I'm going. So,
I need a drink and
but he's an awesome.
shimmy my ass up.
What do you got, bourbon?
Oh, not with me. Shit, I should have brought some.
Oh, it's too hot.
Say it. Too hot for bourbon. She said.
Gotta be cold for bourbon.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say it's too early.
Oh no,
That was it.
it's 5
I'm here.
o'clock somewhere. I don't care.
Got room?
It's pretty. Carrie's a little skinny guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Why has it got a fuzzy butt on it?
So a dead cat keeps the wind off it.
Is that the mic?
Yeah. So it check this out. Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's got a magnet. So this thing is fucking.
So you take
Golden.
your nipples and put it on.
Oh
the,
yeah.
like,
You'll put it right on Snoopy's ear and it'll
Yeah.
look like it's a fuzzy
I'll
ear.
just hold it. I think I'll just put it. Should I hold it? I
I
don't know.
think you put on your shirt.
Yeah, it'll pick everybody up, won't it?
we'll just go. Hey Tim, how's it going?
Here, talk right here, Brian. Talk right there. Come on. A little more milk.
Breastfeeding's okay now in public.
Breast is best.
I saw
Yeah.
I saw more than one nipple
Boobs are
on
better.
TikTok in the last couple of weeks. Women just like
Have you really?
they're just like, and it's this delayed. They
told
got
you
the
what he gets on
they got the
his-
kid's head in their hand like this, and they're like,
Those are just exhibitions.
Is it on purpose?
oh God, yeah, because
Okay.
they're looking straight at the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
They're trying to buy baby formula.
You got room? You
Oh,
okay? All right. Mother Bear, babe,
Yeah.
you want to hit the record button for us?
Make it go live.
You want to go? You think we can go live?
I don't know.
Probably could.
I don't know.
You do that.
I don't know. Let's see if we can do it.
We can be real.
He's like, dude, can you help me? I'm like, sure, show me out.
I'm gonna hit
call
record
her
my
on the
face.
road.
Right?
I need you to do this on my computer. I got like 4,000 internet tabs open on 5
So
different
true.
browsers. I think the one I closed, my
I don't mind
computer
doing the live,
closed
but I don't want my face
accidentally,
right there.
Yeah.
and I went to reopen.
Oops,
all
I don't
my
wanna
Brave
go live
browsers,
together.
And I had
to be in the
most recently closed. I had 5
I like doing
different
them on Friday nights.
browsers,
We talk
and
about
each
the
one
movies and
averaged
stuff.
20 plus tabs. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's over 100
Every once
things
in a
I had
while.
open
Like,
going
okay,
on
I
in my
can do
fucking
one
brain.
now.
Hey Corey, find this
I find
one.
It's not as bad as like
37 tabs open on my
talking
phone
with a bunch
browser
of
right
people.
now.
Oh, your phone?
I mean, and it's
think
like,
I
yeah, I can
probably
bookmark it,
could
but
do
somehow
it,
when I
but
bookmark it, I still
I
forget it
wouldn't wanna do
exists,
it
so I
for
leave the
like
tabs open.
No,
until
and
I
I-
fully.
So here's what I started doing. Josh
Yeah.
Josh told me this was
well, that's why I told him I wanted to.
Smile. Oh, we didn't get it.
you need 2
That'll work.
Do podcasts and
you need
everything,
2
but I don't want,
members to make a
like,
private or a
it's
group
weird just
on
talking to yourself. right?
Telegram.
It's weird. It's so
I
bad.
thought
even
that.
have
So
a
you
hard time making
put yourself
some
and the tip bot
and then,
Yep.
like,
or
add
any
them
bot
up to it.
and then
Like,
start the
yeah.
group and then
Yeah,
kick
you
Even
just,
that,
like,
kick
I'm
them
like,
out
I
once
think
it's
I know.
open
Yeah.
and then you
Have my
just
own
put
space.
you send yourself all your
Back,
shit.
I'm like, is that?
Yep.
And you got it on
I'm gonna start
mobile,
doing that. Yeah.
desktop,
that's
back
like
and
a thing.
forth.
Yeah.
Like,
And so I
yeah,
used
and
to
so I was like, okay,
Bluetooth.
well, I guess
Yeah,
that's
I used to
what it is.
Bluetooth
It's 'cause
my.
you're like tone deaf.
I would do my
Yeah,
thumbnails
it's really
on my
weird.
phone because I have an app to
And
do
of course,
it,
the
and then I would
town we live
Bluetooth them to my
into is
computer because
that-
that's where I would set up
It's a small
StreamYard.
town.
Well, it is, but
Bluetooth is not
You have a
bad.
lot
It
of
takes a little bit.
followers, or you
I
have a
was
lot
like,
of people that
well,
follow
shit,
from your town.
I made
not,
them,
not from
and I just
town.
send it
There's
in
like
Telegram now.
there's an
And now
odd
when I
amount, but, like, we
download it
worked
on my
in it
computer, I
for
can
years now.
rename it to the
Like, where
episode.
we moved
It used to
from,
when it would Bluetooth it,
they're-
auto named it, the file,
they're
and it
more
was
laid
some
back.
ungodly
And of course,
string.
and, like-
And then when I would go to
and they're
upload, I had to
just,
search for it and all that.
like
Now I
they're-
just name
they're-
it the episode number.
They're friendlier, they're more accepting.
It's like,
And
man,
then
this
we
is
moved to
way
Provost. It's
nicer.
like,
That
because I don't have any friends.
And then
in
after I
Provost, right?
post
'Cause
the
they're all
episode, I just delete them out of
these
the
women
group.
that have to have the lash
Thanks, Josh.
extensions
Oh,
and the
God,
hair
yeah,
ext- and they all have the
So your daughter would love
What are you
it.
doing?
yeah, like they all have
Just
the
making sure I
blonde
got a
hair
signal.
extensions, the eyelashes,
Fuck
and
you,
the
Brian.
big nails, and they all wear
And the horse you
makeup,
rode in on.
And if you don't fit into their perfect little
What's wrong
mold,
with my
then
truck?
you're just like
Nothing.
then you're not included.
Now I got
right?
no
And I'm
signal.
just
What'd I
like,
do?
Trusty
I'm
Rusty.
like,
I like it. I didn't say nothing about your
Yeah,
truck.
If it
I bet
means that
Becky
much to
could
them,
give
it
you a
doesn't
hotspot
mean they're not
on her
supposed to be
phone.
friends.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
probably
but
got a good.
have
Oh, there we
it.
go.
Like,
We
I'm
got a
not
signal
worried
now.
about making friends
I
in Provost.
know.
Not
Either
in
way,
Provost.
StreamYard will record
I
it.
like-
So
Well, we're traveling,
Yeah,
so like
no.
I don't try to make friends any. I mean, you know.
You
No, I
didn't
like-
try to make friends when we were there.
That's true. I like our network that we have here.
Yeah.
Because like I know we're all like-minded, but the people in Provost, they're like,
she's well trained, isn't she?
it's like
She's awesome.
it-
I
it's
love her.
So,
Got the talking points down and everything.
No, we're not making fun. It's true. No.
no, it's true.
Yeah.
If you met the people in Provost, they are so Like we've been there for 10 years, and like you have like acquaintances, but you don't have friends, right? Because if you don't make above a certain income, or if you don't drive a certain vehicle, you don't have a certain size of house, or if you're a woman and you're not, and your whole closet's not full of, you know, thousands of dollars of Lululemon, it's like you just don't fit in, right? Like, because it's oil town.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
a lot of these women they've never worked a day in their lives because their husbands all make, you know, millions of dollars, and then when you talk to them, like they sit at home and they're the ones that are like the professional bakers or photographers, and you're just like, your baking sucks and your pictures suck. You know what I mean? Like, it's
And you
just-
don't, and you didn't sell any, but you didn't need to, so
No, I
you can
didn't
call
need to,
yourself
but-
whatever you want.
But they're always posting things online like, my pictures are the best. Everybody says so, and you're just like, no, they're not. Like,
They
I have
say
this-
so.
How many bars do you have, honey?
One.
One. Yeah, I can't.
No, there's this one lady. Her kids used to come to the
Same.
daycare.
Yep.
She
Carry it up to the top of the hill,
records herself
Tim.
crying.
Now I'm good.
Like that's
Now I got SOS. So
No, she works at the hospital part time. She works like 1 day a week, but she records herself about how difficult her life is because her daughter has a cold, and then she'll like record herself praying and singing hymns and everything, and it's just like, there is something wrong.
you got a problem,
It's like-
lady.
And then
People
she
taking this
cries.
content creation
This
like
is
in
what
the
my
wrong
life
fucking
is.
The wrong way,
I'm
big
like,
big time, right?
Husband
Big
died,
time.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pay attention to me.
Yeah.
He just bought like 50 acres and you're
She
building a
colored
40
me
feet.
something out of our adult
I'm sure, yeah,
coloring
you're
book.
so
Okay.
It says
done by
attention whore.
princess, right?
That's
And I
it.
put it right above my
And- but-
So you
pillow.
gotta pay your mortgage or anything.
So every night when I'm falling asleep, I
Yeah, I
remember
get it.
I'm not doing this for
I
attention.
can't. I'm
I'm
just
doing
like,
it for an end goal.
like
Right.
My sister and I are,
get that.
we're just like, we're looking at these people. Her name's Emma. And of course, her last
There's
name's
quite a few
Swall,
people
so
out
we
there
make
doing
fun
it
of her,
just
like,
to look
but
at
we're
me,
just like,
and if you're not getting views,
get over
that's
it.
not
Like-
satisfying.
like this is, and then of course, and then
So let's do
she'll have,
something
like, 100
more
comments.
extreme or
Oh,
more
I'm here for
stupid.
you.
That's
more
exactly it, right?
controversial.
You're not willing to,
My
to
team love you.
plug along with it to build the viewership and
Yeah,
build
or they'll post
relationships,
something
then-
online like,
yeah.
I can't believe this is happening. Inbox me.
Or if it's
Yeah.
about the views, it's not about the right
I
thing.
can guarantee
Yeah.
what's happening. Your husband's probably cheating on you again. So,
She's awesome. I love it.
but like,
I think
no,
we're gonna
it's
get
true,
on.
like, we get,
I think we're gonna get live here. We'll see in a
you're
second.
just
There
like,
we
you're
go.
just listening to
Allow.
it, and it's like, oh my God, I can't
Enter
do it.
studio.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that I've met like that, and I'm like, I don't have time.
No,
I just don't.
I don't. And then I get,
I
then you get,
definitely don't have the energy for any drama. Like,
no, we don't
none of
either.
it.
Lose your
That's why
marbles.
with the daycare, anyone I hire, I'm like, listen, if you're gonna bring drama, just go out the other door because,
Make sure I didn't drop it up the hill at the start.
'cause
Oh, that would be yeah.
That would be an epic.
so we don't need it from our employees. But like,
We're not
it
live
is-
yet, so
All good.
But then you get like some of the parents that are
we'll see what
on
happens.
the other end of the spectrum, like, and you're just like, what's wrong with you? Like kids show up at
Keeping
the
busy
daycare minus
for
their
work?
cats,
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
cats,
I
their
mean the rest of this
sweatpants.
month is
They come
Booked.
to
booked,
like
and
we've
I've
had
got
this
stuff
one
on.
that's had.
I've got part of May already
Yeah,
done.
well, we
like,
have
Good.
we have this one
books.
dinner
Did you find it?
that
Okay, good.
Yeah.
where
pretty
kids
sure I
call
had it
something
when I
like,
saw it.
oh,
All right, well, here we go. Let's see what happens. Look like an idiot here for a second. Go live.
Yeah, we have a shop right in town. I don't know. I've never
I think we're live. We are live.
Alright.
Ah, look like an old man.
I think we're live. Are we? Is that a computer?
Is that what's going on in there? How do they send that over a typewriter? I don't understand. All right, guys, so this is being recorded. I have no idea if you're out there. We're too far away from the damn camera to tell whether or not you're even commenting. The ladies are behind us. Maybe they can see it. Our two beautiful better halves, two of them. Angel isn't with us today.
Angel's at the house.
Yes. So we'll say hello to Angel for
Will
us.
do.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah. All right. So
Hello, Angel.
hi, Angel. Yeah. What a sweetheart. Yeah. She's got an angelic name, doesn't she?
Oh,
Yeah.
don't go down that road. She'll prove you wrong.
Oh, I know.
She's not gonna watch you anyway, so.
No, that's true. She's just here for Carrie and his muscles. So
That's right. That's right.
yeah, yeah. So where are we? Anybody want to?
Well, apparently it doesn't have a road name.
It
so-
doesn't. Okay. So what do we call it?
Workshop South.
Sure. We have
There
not
we
come
go.
up with a name yet, have we?
Well, it could be Delinquent Central.
Oh yeah.
I do like that.
Um,
What did you call? What are the little divots where the water run? Ravine?
Gully.
Gullies.
We usually call those gullies
Delinquent
out
Gully.
here. Yeah,
I like
Gully.
Delinquent Gully.
I like it.
Yeah.
That
I
works.
don't know. What do you think, huh?
You should write it on the cabin.
Yes, I will. Yes. Did you see the big cabin that Brian built? No, it's modular.
I
have
didn't
it in
buy
the-
it. I
Oh,
didn't
Corey
build
built it.
Corey built
yeah,
it.
it's in the back seat of the truck.
Cool.
So it doesn't I don't think it quite sleeps one yet, but it's close. So yeah, see, bring it out, Brian, so we can show it. You know, but
You have to like hang your legs out the door or something like that, or.
yes,
Okay.
you could say, yeah.
All right, all right.
Legs out one side, hands out the other. I wouldn't want to lay on it. It's really tiny home. It takes tiny home living to the next level.
Indeed.
So it does.
Indeed.
And the doors are painted on, so it's a fire hazard. But other than that, it's beautiful.
It is
I mean, it's got a loft up top for the little people to live in, and underground parking.
And
Yeah.
we killed a bear for
They
you.
did. There's a bear skin, a bear head on the top.
You know
and
what that's from?
No.
A sock.
Oh.
Said you're freezing and glitching.
Okay. Well, tell her she'll have to. Yeah, it's recorded. It'll be uploaded when we're.
No, I just asked.
Oh yeah, tell her thank you very much. So should be. Yeah, it records locally. Yeah. So we're good. If it doesn't, if it gets out, it gets out. If it doesn't, we've got audio here. So. Oh, there's yeah, pocket's ringing. So
Yes.
yeah, that's all right.
That's a nice little cabin.
Yeah, so that's the first technical property on here. We won't have to pay taxes on it because it's modular. You can pick it up and move it mobile.
Exactly,
So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
We
It's
didn't
mobile.
make a foundation.
It doesn't have a
no,
foundation.
no foundation at all. We are going to put pillars down to put it on afterwards, so that'll be something.
It's going to be interesting fitting the composter and toilet in there.
I'd make a mess in it. I would. It wouldn't be good. It'd be a shitty situation. That is very true. See, Becky being all sensible. Here we are joking about sitting on it and ruining it, and she's like, "Let's lacquer it and make it a lifetime memory," you know? Because, yeah. Well, that
We
was
were
just sweet.
thinking the first cabin you built, then you could just put it on a shelf in the
Well,
cabin.
I was thinking yes, but apparently, so.
We didn't make it weatherproof.
No, well, it's made out of, I don't know, what would that be? Like
I think it's
not,
like a balsa wood.
yeah, it's not quite a 2x4. It's close. What's in it? You got 2x4, 1x6, and then you got popsicle
Hey, is
sticks.
that like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
the floor joists at Nicole's were made out of?
They just-
Close to it.
They would
close
just
to it.
end. They would
Yeah.
end in places.
Yeah.
So what did we do here? Okay, well, where the hell are we anyway? You know the area better than I do.
So so we're in kind of midwestern Tennessee.
Mhm.
Not too far from Camden,
Okay.
and I came out here to help you guys evaluate the property. And in general, it's always a good idea to have multiple sets of eyes on a project of this scope because we've got about 10 acres here to work with. Is that correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
be careful though, because you can get arrested for having multiple sets of eyes on your person. It can be they think you're a serial killer. But anyway, keep going.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough,
I'll
fair
shut up now.
So I wanted to get out here so we could kind of figure out sort of the first big 3 steps with how we're going to access everything being number 1. So
Okay.
We've got this road. We know we can get to this road.
Any concerns about the road?
It looks okay. It could wash out in places, like you can see right here. Like this soil is a little different than what we have on the eastern end of the state. It's very sandy.
Okay.
There's a lot of kind of chert rock in it, and so obviously with heavy rain, there's a bunch of road that went over there, a bunch of sand.
Fair enough.
But it's not too bad. Like I don't see ruts and things like that. So we would like to be able to get in here, for the infrastructure at some point. So we're gonna have to find our paths. We're gonna have to figure out what's gonna be the most sensible route to get materials in and out.
Yep.
And the property, like it's I guess you'd say it's like sort of tiered. Like as you go up the ridge, you kind of come up, you level off a little bit, you go up again, you hit a gully, we go up again, and then we get to the top. So we've got some logistical challenges, but nothing insurmountable.
Oh no, it's
I've
not
been
a
on-
cliff by any means.
No, I mean I've been on properties where people ask like, what's too steep to walk up and down, and I'm like, well, if you feel like you need to scoot down on your butt, to me that's too steep.
Fair enough.
If I feel like at 5'6" I'm too top heavy and I'm going to fall forward, then yeah. So we'll figure out our access. We found some water, so
Yeah.
water access structure 1, 2, 3 every time we want to build out raw land, and we did find what we are hopeful is a spring and or a seep of water coming up from the ground.
What's the
ahead.
difference between a spring and a seep?
When I talk about a spring, we've usually found like the source of where the water is coming out of the ground.
Okay.
I have a feeling the spot that we were looking at, where I stuck my head down in that hole, that's more of a seep, and that the actual spring is a little higher up.
Okay.
And that's just where it's coming out of the ground because the roots of that tree have kind of created this hollow spot,
Yeah.
and it's kind of opened up.
And that's where we're kind of finding it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's possible to kind of like carefully dig and kind of tunnel and follow that water line up and park a pipe in there and collect. Ultimately, to me, it doesn't matter whether it's a seep or a spring. We just kind of want to observe it through the seasons. If that's still running in August, that's going to be really good.
That's
news.
golden.
Yeah.
By the looks of it, what do you think? Hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because it is spring, and I mean, we have wet springs, so it still could be a lot of water filtering through the ground from the higher elevation. So we just have to evaluate it again.
I mean, it is still wet up on top. So.
Yeah, and we
Who are
found those
you?
wet spots.
Huh?
What are you doing here?
I'm just sleeping.
Oh.
They found me in the woods.
That's this.
This guy's into like hip camp and shit like that, so you know.
Yeah. So you were the first one to. Well, technically, Dawn was the first
Dawn
one to come
came,
down here,
yep.
and then you came down. When did you come? When were you here?
Last week, I think. Middle of last week, you dropped us a pin.
I did my
So
best.
he dropped me a pin right here at the property. Well, the property is at the end of the easement. The easement's probably a quarter mile, I would say.
Okay.
And when I mapped it, it actually took me to the road on the other side of all the properties. So there was no easement. It doesn't go through. There's like somebody's property is at the end of this road, and we were on the back side of their property.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no cell phone signal for Verizon around here, so I couldn't figure out where I was because I can get a map to pull up. And so we went home, and I said, "Hey Tim, you got the property map?" And he sent it, and I found the road that's on the other side, dropped a pin at the entrance of the easement,
Yes.
and that was way easier.
And that's the pin you sent me, wasn't it?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And that made it because, I mean, this is as straight a run, not for you, but for us coming from Camden, it is an absolute dead straight run, pretty
Right.
much.
And we're coming from, so Camden's north of here. We're staying actually south of here, and it's all windy kind of county road, state road, 2-lane, 45-mile-an-hour zones the whole way, pretty much.
Driving back to Nicole's place, I'm guessing. Yeah.
So we came over. I came over the next day with Corey. We kind of peeked around, and then I came over by myself and walked. We had the dogs with us the first time we
Yes.
came. And
Okay.
we didn't know how open it was.
Yep.
And we didn't know if we were going to be able to walk them. And when we saw this, I'm not taking my St. Bernards through that. Their hair would be so full of everything. And so we went home. I came back by myself and threw the GoPro on my chest
Yes, you did.
and walked from here to the top, and then found all the corner stakes. And Kane kind of did like about 45-minute video.
Yeah, it was. It was massive.
And yeah, it took forever to download and upload and download and upload and process. And he was so excited to get the video. I told him before I actually started working on it. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. It's going to be like 3 hours to process. And then it's going to be another hour and a half you're going to have it with coffee.
And in the morning, and that's when I woke up in the morning, I hit it, and it was there. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
And you found water, and that day
I
you found a
found
stream
water.
or something.
Yeah.
And then you get to the top, and there's old logging road up on top, so it's kind of flat and cleared up there because you could tell where, when they had the equipment in here, it left tracks.
Right.
So you have swaths that are level enough to drive on, and kind of cleared still from where they kind of ran equipment through it. So you already have some openings.
So what would we find for wildlife or foliage and whatever else you can?
Yeah, so there is really diverse wildlife, plant life out here. Just in the first few minutes, the yellow stuff back there ahead of us is that is ragwort. Lots of ferns. We found a sensitive fern, so we have to be careful about how
Very
we talk about
sensitive.
that fern, but it's a sensitive fern. There's wild comfrey, which is really exciting to have.
This is this is a very sensitive property. So be very careful when you come here. If you get invited here, you need to be very careful about what you're saying because there's sensitive ferns everywhere.
They wear a sign around their neck with their pronoun though,
They
so
do,
we're good. Yeah.
and yeah, they kind of they'll get on social media.
Uh-oh,
and
something
squall and
happened.
disparage
Hang on.
you.
Something went wrong.
Because these are all fur.
Yeah, that's what happened probably.
You said you're done. Did
Yep.
it get too hot in the sun?
No, it's okay.
What happened?
I don't know. It stopped. So we'll just keep recording on a regular video.
Record and then upload it
Yeah.
later.
It's supposed to do a.
We started talking about pronouns and the phone just shut us off.
Yep.
Tim's got his toilet paper already.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead.
Did
Keep
you
going.
show Becky your toilet
I haven't
paper?
showed her the toilet paper yet.
Yeah, so Tim found all natural toilet paper, also known as mullein leaf.
It feels like velvet.
Velvet?
Velvet,
Very
yeah.
soft.
So if he gets
Yeah.
a rash on his ass, then you guys.
Oh no, they use it. No, no.
Yeah,
it-
it's one of those.
you need
that,
me to put your butt cream on for you, Tim?
Later.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not getting any money for this stream. Like we'll do that in the private members only group.
Oh,
So
okay.
yep,
Okay.
fair enough.
make sure not to invite me to that.
Fair
one,
enough.
too.
I don't want to get you in trouble. So
Yeah. What
You've
else?
seen one, you've
So-
seen them all.
that's yeah.
That's true. That's true.
One ass
I
looks
have
like
seen.
the
I have
next.
seen a lot of ass in my day. We got mostly poplar and elm trees out here are the hardwoods.
Mhm.
It looks like it was logged. I'm kind of thinking at this point, 5 to 7 years ago.
Okay.
Looking the way these trees look that are down, we've got a lot of wood to harvest and put to work. Lots,
gonna be good, eh?
Lots of wood. Yeah, it's not a problem at all. It's just a resource.
You mentioned building a bridge.
Yeah,
some of the wood?
Yeah, I think because the gully is kind of a more than a hindrance, really. But I think with the trees that are already down, we can build something heavy enough or heavy duty enough to accommodate a four-wheeler or side-by-side or something like that, and save us a little bit of the
Up and down all the time.
up and down. Yeah,
That's hard on the gear and hard on the body and hard on everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm thinking too, like pulleys and zip lines and
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I never thought of
I
that.
mean, to move stuff, really, to move like equipment and stuff.
I think I'm gonna. I mean, probably in the next week, we noticed on the property down there that somebody ran mason line,
Yeah.
chalk line from post to post, and I think that's next. I'll come out and just spend time cutting path from the front to the back. From here, access paths to make it easier to just move around,
That's a
and
really good
then
idea.
go ahead and string line to line.
That'll
So
be
when people want to come out and work, just be inside the orange line.
Yep, that's your
actually
zone.
This is
Really
what
good
we
idea.
need to do, and you need to be inside this. I mean, obviously, we won't cut the front, put it across the front,
right.
but put
Yeah.
it across the back, and then
Sure.
nobody can say, "Well, I didn't know where the property line was."
That is very true.
It's brilliant, and
Simple.
yeah, it's simple, easy to communicate. And I too, like when I do clearing jobs, I either have, like you set up, a very specific zone, or if that's a little hard to do, I will pick one species at a time to remove. So it's like, I know I'm coming here, I'm getting all the honeysuckle. That's all I'm going to worry about today. Honeysuckle,
Oh.
honeysuckle. And it saves, to me, it saves a lot of frustration because clearing work can be really hard and really demoralizing.
Tedious when you look around and you go,
tedious.
"Oh my God, I just spent 8 hours and didn't do anything."
Yeah.
Because you weren't focused.
Yep.
And you walk, you're out here and you look back in, you're like, what did I do today?
And if you do one species at a time, you're less likely to start removing stuff accidentally. Like you get your head down, you're like cut, 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 and then like, oh, maybe I didn't want
You
to
should
cut
have left that one.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
It's
so
actually a good little tip.
yeah.
It's like he knows what he's talking about.
I know. He's a pretty smart dude.
I have my moments.
What would happen if somebody wanted to have you come and do this for them? How would they get a hold of you?
That's what I was wondering.
Oh, yeah. So it's Strong Roots Resources.
And who are you?
My name's Carrie Brown.
Okay.
And I help people evaluate
Just some
their
random
property.
guy running,
Just
walking
some
down
We
the
were
road.
coming down here and we seen this dude and we're like,
yeah, he
okay.
looks like he knows stuff about trees.
Let's
Go talk
ask
to
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was looking at
He's
the
got
plants
a-
in the ditch.
yeah,
We said,
he's in
"Hey,
a
we
Jeep,
got
he
some
must
place
be
for you to look
capable.
at."
Yeah, he's got a Jeep and he knows plants. So
Yeah.
he's either an old hippie or yeah. So
Yep. Yep. Strong Roots Resources is the business I built to help people evaluate their property and then plan it out for food production and resilient living.
Nice.
To kind of put a wide descriptor on it. And so I'll do stuff with raw property. I help people design stuff in little urban and suburban backyards. It really doesn't matter what size. So this will be the third raw land property that I've helped with. So
Nice.
this is not brand new, and it's also one of the more I should say forgiving layouts.
okay.
The first one I did was literally on like the side of a sheer mountain
Ooh.
facing north, and he's like, "What can I do here?" And I was like, "Grow mushrooms." That's about it. It
Really?
was cold, had a lot of prevailing wind, always dark. So yeah, um, it's a really versatile land. I mean, I've only scratched the surface of cataloging what's here.
Sure.
We threw some tags. We found one I'm pretty sure is either a wild blueberry or maybe a huckleberry.
Okay.
I have to get into my books to tell the difference, but definitely a wild edible berry. Lots of medicinal stuff. There's gonna be all kinds of cool wildflowers. You're gonna see something every 2 or 3 weeks, something else blooming
That
in the
is cool.
wildflower department. We saw a deer sign. We found a bone.
Yes.
Some kind of what looked like a leg bone. Deer scat tracks, maybe dog tracks,
Maybe
or
dog
coyote tracks, but definitely some kind of canine track.
There's some really cool LGD puppies that live down the road that come
Yep.
and visit.
We have visitor puppies. They're real sweet.
They're really sweet.
I've brushed 2 ticks off. So
Plenty of ticks around.
I'm sure I'll have some. I haven't
After
yet.
you help him with his butt cream, I'm gonna need help with tick identification.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Whoever's game.
Just crawling up my arm, but you can feel them, which is good.
Yeah, I mean it's like this is kind of what I'd call second growth. Kind of
Which is like after they've gone in and cut.
yeah. So the smaller stuff is already died back. So the like the brambles and whatnot, they're kind of in their own little zone now because
Yep.
most of the overstory is high enough now. And as we get onto some of these tiers where there's sort of like some clearings, and we know a few more trees will inevitably have to come down for some of
Sure.
the projects. As we open up a little more canopy, I'm going to find places to plug in whatever. Like we're going to pick species to grow that are going to be regionally adapted, and that basically like we can plant them and be like, and they should do okay since there's not going to be somebody here 24/7 tending.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering is this something, looking at this, so if you don't know, you're watching the guy's channel, but if you stumbled upon it, he's from
Canada. Way up
above
north.
the border.
Yeah.
He's only allowed to be here just shy of 6 months.
Yep.
So it kind of has to be set up to be hands off.
Yep.
Like I said it and forget it.
Is that something to where, say 10 years, 15 years from now, he's up in Canada and World War 18 kicks off, and he says, well, screw it, I'm going to go somewhere where it's warmer. Is that something where he'd come here and you'd have a head start or even pretty well-established food forest to
Yeah.
where he's
Yeah.
going to be able to forage for things that we did now?
Sure, and even propagate off of what was already established.
Hmm.
So, yeah, there's a number of tricks. Number one thing when it comes to planting trees is just do really good site prep. So we'll want to mulch stuff really well to help retain water in the soil. Picking the appropriate site, being extra discerning about that is going to be critical.
Okay.
And then in terms of, because we know we have deer and deer are going to browse anything tasty, and normally deer know when you spent money and that's the tree they go eat. So there's a number of, we can kind of take nature's techniques and put them to work so we can pile spiny, brambly things around young tender trees
Sure.
and protect them from some of the browse. And we'll look for where we can do like bulk plantings on maybe they're smaller trees but they're less expensive, and we'll plant a lot with the hopes that some survive.
Okay.
So it's we're gonna take like the guerrilla planting
Nice.
type where we're just sort of plugging stuff in, and yeah, like a lot of the research I'll end up doing for you, Tim, is what's going to be not just this tree, but what version of this tree is going to be happiest in this sandy soil with these weather extremes, with this kind of canopy. Like that's where
Without
research
us
comes
needing
in.
to do anything.
Yeah.
Or very little,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
Yeah, we know the hardwoods are happy here. We found, I think we found a pecan.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. I don't see any reason why pawpaws wouldn't do well here.
Okay.
They're a native. They're kind of like, it's almost like a tropical type fruit. They're really good. Things like all the berries, all the brambles will do fine. Cherries do really well. Probably would even have some luck with any of the stone fruits, so peaches and plums.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I forget. I
How
know
would
it's
apples do here? Is it too far south for apples? Like we were big,
We can
huge
grow 'em,
apple in
yeah.
Minnesota.
'Cause that's what I
They
always
more
think
here,
too,
you
right?
Can. Wine sap is one variety that's a little happier down here. It wouldn't be bad to try a few, but they're so disease prone. And normally there's a lot of diseases that apples get. Cedar apple rust is the one that's most common around here. We don't have very many cedars, so that is kind of a good thing.
We
for
did
that.
find at least one up there,
Couple,
right?
yeah.
There's a couple
yeah.
up there.
And some small ones down around the edge here.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those, like, if we came across some really cheap or free apple trees, sure.
Why not?
Okay.
Would I go suggest you spend $100? No.
No.
Not even that on apple trees. We'll stick with what's going to work.
Some 75% off Costco specials that might not be zoned right, and you get it like 20 for $20, and
Yeah.
you just go toss them out, and if they all die, you
not the end
spend
of the
20
world.
bucks.
Exactly. Yeah, if you've saved them from the dumpster, they'll put their trees on sale. Some right now, and then they'll do it again in the fall.
Okay.
That's the time. Yeah. Like, I would 100% like get a bunch of trees on discount, come out here and plant on one weekend, and just be like,
It is
here's
what it
your-
is.
Here's your bill, and
Yep.
they're in. Another tree planting technique that is especially useful when we've got slope like this is to kind of cut this crescent right above. So you've got your hole for your tree, and then we kind of cut this crescent in the ground that's about 6 or 8 inches deep, just uphill of it. And sometimes I call it like a mulch pit, and it's just a little catchment for as the rainwater comes down, it just catches a little bit more water and infiltrates it. And I've done that quite
Almost
a bit.
like a swale.
Like a mini swale or
swale for a
something?
tree.
It's
Yeah.
the miniest of mini swales. Yep.
So it just basically what it does is it leaves moist soil
Yep.
uphill of the plant,
To
and then
leach
it
down
leaches
in.
down. Okay.
Yep.
That
Right
makes
there
So
in
it gets
that
triple
root
watered for every rain.
Exactly. So that's worth doing for any tree or shrub, especially on a hillside.
So what are we going to start with here? Because Brian, I'm sure you're going to be in and out at different times, aren't you?
Yep.
And you just like to come over and well, you know what? Tell a little story about setting up your preparedness plan for coming in here the other day.
Oh yeah. So Corey and I came. There's no, like I said, there's no cell signal for Verizon at this site. So if you want to get off your phone
It's a
and
good
you have
spot for it.
Verizon, head here. But I was getting ready to leave, and we only have one vehicle. Our site is about 20 minutes from here, and without any cell signal, if I fall or the truck won't start or
Chainsaw.
if I'm using a chainsaw and the chain breaks and rips my arm up, or I cut myself or anything, there's nobody really to talk to, and there's no one to come and get me
Right.
because I don't have another vehicle.
Right.
And so I was getting ready to leave to come out here by myself, and I stopped and I said, "Hey, Corey, you got like 20 minutes?" She was working, and she's like, "No, but maybe after work." I sent Tim a message like, "Hey, I was going to go out today, but I just realized I should probably have a plan in place."
Good call.
And so we figured out that we have Tim's number, who knows some contacts close. Our landowner that we're staying with is super nice, and I'm sure he would give us a ride 20 minutes if Corey called him in an emergency. So I gave her their contact information. And then every time I come out here, it's what time do you expect to be home? What time will you be home? Probably by, if
Yep.
something goes sideways, flat tire, you get hung up doing something, and then it's normally going to be dark. If you
Right.
don't see me by dark, start looking for me.
That makes sense.
And then we
Absolutely.
also made a plan of if the truck has a flat tire or doesn't start, where are you going? And I said, I'm walking to the end of the easement, and I'm going to go right towards the highway, and I will go until I find a house that I can use their phone or a gas station or something.
Yep.
So look that direction. So this was all stuff that we needed to communicate ahead of time that we didn't even think about. We did that naturally when we were at home, but we were in one spot.
Right.
We knew if shit hit the fan and one of us wasn't home, that we were coming home.
Right. And it made sense.
And if we weren't home, we knew the signs that we set up for ourselves to where we went. Either we went to our cabin or we went to a neighbor's property, but we knew how to communicate that to each other without saying it.
Sure.
Well, now that we're traveling and we don't have a second vehicle, it was, well, what happens if you don't show up? Now, I know Corey's smart enough to figure out where I am or what happened, but are we going to be on the same page? And am I going to be walking one direction and she's going to be up on the property looking for me?
Scared to death, wondering where you are, and yep, panic, right?
So now we know. Now we know. And I know if I'm stuck here and I'm laying there with a broken leg, all I have to do is make it till maybe a couple hours after dark, and there'll be someone here that I'm going to be able to yell to because she's going to get a ride here.
Right.
Or she's going to call you,
Yep.
and you're going to send somebody over.
Absolutely.
And we know you can yell from the top of this,
Yep.
and I can listen or look for lights, and I know if I make it till dark, someone's going to be coming, and that's all I got to do is make it till that long.
And that's good. And it's funny because when you told me that, I wasn't thinking about that because it's just something you do sometimes. You hop in a vehicle, you go, and you don't think about it.
We're just
But
used to being connected all the time.
right. But this is, it's important. Very important.
Corey said no big tools if I'm here by myself. She's
Yep.
coming if I got chainsaw out. She's gonna be here.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of thumb.
The only thing I worry about is falling and twisting an ankle or busting an ankle haphazardly halfway up this hill.
Right.
I mean, I'll make it down. I mean,
You might have to crawl or you might
I
have
might
to
crawl
hobble. Yep.
or whatever, but I'll make it down. That's the biggest concern. I mean, but mechanical issues, chains break, man. I don't
Yeah.
care how safe you are, shit happens.
It happens.
And being out by yourself is not when you want shit to happen. People were putting in my group, you got a tourniquet.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I have one in that bag I was carrying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a first aid kit and everything in that bag just because I knew we were all going to be out here, and I didn't know exactly what the lay of the land was going to be like, or
Well, the
you
first
know,
time I went
snakes.
exploring, that was okay. This was going to be the first time I didn't know what the hell was up there.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't even really know.
We made it as far as this edge here, and with the dogs, and we didn't lose sight. And then Corey sat, and I walked in as a little bit until I hit something that was going to scratch me up, and I was like, well, I'm going to come back anyway. So didn't even go farther than that. So I didn't know if I was going to be walking across logs, or I mean, there were plenty of spots that you could have fallen, busted an ankle real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was.
And it's not even that bad, but it's easy you could. Yeah.
Double think about every step you take when you're by yourself. Like, be extra cautious.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Look where you're putting your feet.
Yep.
Don't jump. Step,
Don't just stuff your hands somewhere you can't see.
Or stick your head in a 2-foot hole where the water's coming out
I mean,
of.
we've been tinkering around with that for a minute, so I was okay with it. But yeah, because I was kind of like doing like the snake path around with my machete, Yeah. So I think yes, like what's our first like action out here?
Yeah.
It's gonna be to get trails put in.
Yep.
Access, just human-sized access, and as we kind of widen that out, maybe it becomes okay. We can pull an ATV with a little utility trailer back here, whatever the case may be. And the early work is going to be by hand with chainsaws. So that's kind of I try to suggest to people like, don't go in bulldozer first if you can help it. Like
That's
it's
what-
easy
yeah.
to make a very expensive mistake very, very quickly with one of those. A chainsaw, not too bad. Wrong spot, cut it up, push it aside, try somewhere different. So we make some trails. I like to be on property many times over before I suggest anything super permanent. But so far, like your ideas about kind of the, cabin one here, like bunk here, bunk
Yep.
there. I don't see why not. I think I always suggest like find your path. Find the path that you want to walk, that your feet want to walk when you come out here, and let's build off of that.
And it makes sense.
Because we humans, like pretty much on their own, will find the contour of the land and we'll find the easier way to get around.
Or just look where the deer go.
Or you follow what the deer have already done for you.
Because you're not even if you're not doing it intentionally, you're doing it subconsciously, right? Because you're gonna, if you get two sides of a tree to go by, you're gonna go by the one with the brush or the one that has an opening, right?
Path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you ever hear them say that traditionally somebody either has a left or a right lean? So overall, if you walk through the woods long enough, you're going to go to the left more often beside a tree or to the right.
Yeah.
So no matter how much you do, so you have to try to be intentional about it. But,
Yeah.
so we're going to, because our plan is, Brian will be in here picking when he has time and wants to, but we're looking at putting together some sort of event or like a 2-day work weekend or something before Self-Reliance in October, right? So what does that look like to you? I mean, just spitballing, because we haven't decided anything, so don't take this as the gospel, but
Yeah. I would like about 10 people who are good-natured, who are patient,
well, I won't be here
who
then.
take instruction well, and even better if you're comfortable running chainsaws, and you know how to look over. I mean, even if I'm not saying we have to necessarily fell trees at this point. There's enough cutting to do just on the stuff that's already on. the ground.
Oh, we got years of cutting
Yeah.
on the ground already.
You know, 10 folks who want to come, you know, kind of learn about studying the land, understanding the contour, finding water, these different, you know, these kind of different, like, what do they call it, like bushcraft type skills.
Yeah.
I can teach a little bit on that, and yeah, we just get some more access opened up.
I think there's plenty of opportunity too to, if people are coming in for SRF, to have people that are going from that. Or, I mean, if you really want to rough it and tent it, I mean, there's no power, there's no water, there's no cell signal if you're on Verizon. Sounds like a pretty nice couple days to me, stuck out in the woods by myself.
Yeah.
It's 41 miles from Camden, and it's a straight run. And it's wide roads with wide shoulders. You go through a couple of towns. You're about 10 miles from a grocery store, but it feels like we're in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you want to sleep in a hotel room bed, or you got a room booked for SRF and you extend it, it's not a problem to stay in Camden
No.
and commute down here for a couple work days.
Right.
But
Still
there
plenty
is
of
an
daylight.
opportunity to do some really backwoods camping, not far from amenities.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even if you were wanting to test a new backpack,
Yep.
you know, you can get your heart rate up depending on where you want to camp, depending on how you go about it. You can carry that pack and walk a little bit, set up
And
camp.
we are totally open to the idea of people coming down here and beautifying or improving the land a little bit for some few days to stay here. Like this is what we want to do. We want it to be an asset to the community, for you to come and teach at, and for you to create content on, and for us to come down and hang out sometimes.
Foot content?
Create foot content, sure. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, if you want to walk around barefoot, I'd watch out for the. You say copperheads? Is that what it was? or-
I'm sure there's copperheads.
Yeah,
around here.
I know. I see that.
She's over there. She's got her shoes off. Already.
Yeah.
Found the poison ivy, so we know that's here.
Yes, and the ticks have found us.
Ticks and poison ivy. So
So do you,
not for the. If you're gonna show up, don't be worried about. There's gonna be. There's pokies. There's stuff that. What is it? Everything here is trying to kill you, or hurt you.
it's not
or
quite.
eat
It's not
you,
quite like
or-
Australia, but it's close.
Yeah.
So what do you think the chances are of at least having access and a pad ready to build on for next year at least?
What kind of pad you want to put down?
I don't, the least possible.
You just want to put little.
I want a
like
cottage. I want a
pillars-
cabin.
Pillars sitting on. So
I
just
think
a
so.
cleared
What
area.
would you say, Carrie? What would you, you're the local expert.
Yeah. To answer your question, yes, I think a year is plenty of time to get a foundation set. You know, I've never really done a lot in the way of pillars.
Okay.
When we did our cabin, we just used recycled asphalt and gravel. So we excavated a little bit because we were on a hill,
Okay.
and then used asphalt chunks to build the backside of the foundation, and then backfilled with smaller chunks and then a little bit of gravel. Saved a ton of money that way. But up here we probably will have to do pillars, just because there isn't going to be getting a dump truck up there.
Right.
Right.
So we're going to have to heft some concrete.
I wonder, spitballing this out here, have you ever played with the spray foam or the expanding foam for that?
Concrete.
Yeah.
I
Or
have dug into that a little bit.
okay,
Yeah.
'cause there's a couple of different things. So first off, I've put a lot of pillars in the ground for very heavy fences. With one bag is the equivalent of a 50-pound bag of cement, except it weighs a pound, and you mix it up, and the whole thing expands to about twice the size of a 5-gallon bucket. Costs like $10 a bag, and I could haul 20 of them. No, I could haul 40 of them in a backpack up the hill. You know, each one equals a bag of cement. So we did our entire fence that way. So that may be an option for us. But as far as the foamcrete, scrambling, Brian Norton is pretty stoked about coming down here and doing something with that as well.
Cool.
I don't know how, what, when, or why, but if anybody's interested in, so basically, if you don't know, Styrocrete is basically Portland cement powder, and the aggregate's been replaced with finely shredded concrete.
No.
Or
Styrofoam.
styrofoam.
The
Thank
beads.
you. The beads.
When
yes.
you get a package and you bust that styrofoam off and you get those little tiny
Stuff
beads.
that sticks to your
Yep,
arms.
the
and
little static cling beads. That's the size it gets down to, and that turns in. Instead of putting rock in your cement, you put that in it.
And
it
it's
gives it the
light as a feather.
structure.
Yeah.
It's the
Awesome.
weight of the rock is gone. It has the structural. It doesn't have quite the structural integrity as rock, but it works. It works.
Yeah, if you're
for
not
sure.
parking a truck on it or
Well,
you're,
right.
yeah.
If you're just making a structure that you want to be solid and insulated and waterproof, because then you can seal it outside with like a Kills
Yep.
if you wanted. You can do all sorts of stuff with it.
Might build a storage shed out of it.
Yeah, and I think we need a guy with a mill.
Right,
I
we got to
think we
find
need- I
somebody
think
with a
we need
mill.
to mill these trees right here on. I mean, it would be silly not to.
Is it the type of thing that we, like you barter with a guy for, where you're like, hey, you come in and you get half the trees and we get half the trees,
Yep,
or,
that's,
okay.
that's an option. I know a couple of guys.
I know a guy in Paris who has a mill.
Yeah.
Actually, he was at Self-Reliance Festival.
Okay.
We took 2 days of training at Tactical Response together.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but that's a little ways away, but he may be something worth looking at.
Yeah.
Because you could get a mill in here,
Sure
could you? Even though that you go up and down, and it's been a long time since I went over a hill that you couldn't see down over the other side. When you get up there, you're like, you get that pucker feeling down,
Yeah,
you know?
that's the old shit handle. that
Yeah,
you
you're like,
grab, yeah.
okay, we're up, 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 up. It's like the top of a roller coaster. Yeah.
Yep.
So I never thought about a mill, but a mill would be very, very advantageous, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it'd be the idea where we'd have to get the logs to him though, wouldn't we? We could do that. What would we use for that?
Drag them.
Drag them, skid them out,
Yeah,
roll them,
with
put
a
them, put rollers beneath them, or use logs
Okay.
as rollers beneath them.
with a quad, or
Couple guys.
Yeah. I mean,
You're a big dude.
I am a big
You
dude.
got a
but
big counter.
I know. Hey, dude, I'm game for anything. You
Yeah.
could make up total shit here, and I'd believe you because But no, but
Actually,
seriously,
we're gonna
yeah.
do like the Egyptians and get water and sand, and we're
makes
just gonna
sense.
move them,
Sure, yeah. Makes sense.
just like the big blocks for the pyramids.
So we're gonna start with trails up the outside, up the south and north property lines, probably up the center line as well, where because
Well,
we
it makes sense.
yeah.
Like a nice, easy path to walk. 'Cause, like I
Right.
think if we went straight up the middle, you're gonna hit some shit you're not
Sure.
gonna want. But yeah, generally up that kind of. So you got two plots next to each other, so it's nicely staked out to where
Yeah.
you know the corners in the middle. So if you start at the middle stake at the bottom and you work your way up and take a natural path up, and you end up close to the stake in the middle at the top, you know you went right up the middle.
right.
And then start getting yourself access.
Is that something you need to mark, or will it be pretty friggin' obvious once we get it
I think you
cut?
start cutting it.
Yeah.
And I think once it's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Once
the
we've
the
walked
nice
it a few
part
times.
is it's going to be when you know to look for it, it's going to be obvious.
But if you don't, it won't.
If you're
be.
driving by, it's just going to look like an opening between two trees.
Right.
But if you go, hey, you go down to the property, you park by the pole,
Yep.
and the trail is to your left, and you're going to look and you're going to go, okay, that's the trail.
But if you don't know to look for it, you're never going to see it. That's a
Yep.
great idea.
And then the next person that stops by takes their little the little hand trimmer or whatever up the trail and walks the trail and just knocks the shit down and keeps it semi
Makes
cut
good
way.
sense. Because we kind of figure we're going to have a spot just in here somewhere for a composting toilet, just far
Somewhere
enough
along
off.
the road, I think,
that'll be-
at the bottom of the hill, so you're not playing with your water or
Yeah, we
anything.
wanna not run anything down into the water.
But that's the first thing for
we're gonna
hip
have
camp
Yeah. Okay.
is a composting toilet, and it's also very nice when you got people coming out to work.
Well, if we're going to have an event here, we got to at least have somewhere
Have some
somebody
place
can
for
sit.
people
and,
to-
yeah.
Take a load off.
Even if we have to put up like a tarp or one of them. You ever see them? They're almost like a luggable loo. So somebody can sit on a toilet on the side of the
little
road.
pop-out shelter.
Yeah. Might start with something like that.
Yeah.
That would get us going, And
Well, I'll find the cheapest, smallest model plans for a little wooden outhouse for you.
Sure,
That you
yeah.
can slide a bucket underneath
that's a great idea.
and pop one up,
Yep. And all.
and then make it repeatable. Maybe we put one on the top, maybe
That's
we put
true.
one on the bottom. But if you're doing composting with a bucket or a drum, like I know Brian, you mentioned Scrambler.
Yep.
On his hip camp out there, he had it to where he put it on enough of a slope and had enough of a step up that he used a 55-gallon drum. And then when it was full, he had the sealable ring, set and put it on a dolly, wheeled it out, put another drum in, and let that sit for a year,
Cool.
just sealed
With the lid on it.
with the lid on it. And then after a year, everything's broken down enough that then
Even
you just
totally
dump
enclosed,
it
yep.
into it's aerobic
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
aerobic
Anaerobic?
anaerobic
Yeah.
decomposition. It kills all the bacteria and everything, and then it
actually a
goes right
really
into your
good
compost
idea.
pile.
Yeah.
But 55 gallons of shit
That takes
for
a
as
long.
much as this property's gonna be in use is a while.
It's probably going to decompose before we
Well,
fill
and
it.
that's the part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it takes so much longer. You know, you put a bucket of pine chips there,
Yep.
and a little note that says you bake a deposit, just throw a scoop on top, and by the time the next person shows up 3 or 4 weeks later, that's all gone already.
So with Hip Camp, if you supply that, do you also have to have toilet paper there? Do you know? Or do you have to tell people to bring their own? Or people?
I think you just put it in the listing. There is no
Okay.
requirement. I know a lot of the places we've stayed will put like a bottle of hand sanitizer in there.
Yep.
And maybe
Don't
a
have to worry
couple,
about it
maybe a
freezing, do we?
little dry bag of toilet paper. And if
Okay.
it's, I mean, I've seen places where it was gone, they didn't have any. I mean, if you're going camping, you kind of bring that stuff with you. You'd hope.
If I'm going driving, I bring that with me. So yeah.
Well, if
there's
if you just get
yeah.
out of bed, you have some close.
I
Right?
do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because otherwise we have the accidents we've discussed before. So yeah.
That's a getting older thing. You younger guys don't worry about it.
No.
For a while.
Yeah, but when you get older, there's just you don't
Plan ahead.
Yeah, you
Plan
have to
ahead.
plan ahead. And even the best plans of mice and men. Yeah. You still end up with an accident once in a while.
Accident.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta sneeze.
So hopefully we'll have at least a bathroom here. And then, so yeah, we need at least 10 good, I wanted to say 10 good men, but are we even allowed to say that anymore? So I don't know, 10
Able-bodied citizens.
able-bodied
Well, we
individuals.
can't even say citizens because
No, I'm not a citizen, so. But anyway, we won't go there. But yeah, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna get trails, and then we're gonna be down here and put a couple of days in, and you'll do some teaching. I know Chuck Peoples offered to come down. He'll be on hand for medical, but he'll also be able to do some training as well
Right on.
and work. Yeah, and I know
it'd be
Thesey.
a fantastic class to just say, "Hey, Chuck, you came to this property now. What would you bring here?
Right, that is a great idea.
What would you suggest if somebody bought 10 acres of property similar to this and they wanted to go out and work? What would you bring?"
Right, because we'll
And it's
put
the
a.
Toolman Tim Rural Property Emergency Kit.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. Yeah, see? All right. We'll put a fire, we can find a spot for a fire pit in there,
Oh,
right?
sure. Plenty,
Yeah.
plenty enough, cleared space to.
Everybody bring a folding chair.
And water.
Water.
We got a way to access and kind of fill some safety waters, and
Yeah.
that's always
Yeah.
nice to have just in case.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we have lots of water to drink. We'll bring a cup, 2, 3,
I
5
was talking
gallons
for the
of.
fire.
Oh, sure, that.
I don't
too,
want to
yeah.
pour my drinking water on the fire, but if I can
Have
capture
something
some
there.
in a tote.
Yep. Yeah. We got to figure out a way to capture some water too, don't we?
I think we can easily fill a tote with a little bit of 2-inch pipe. A little
Some
bit of
redneck
knitting.
engineering.
Yes.
That's awesome. That is so exciting. I can't. Like I said, I know it's pretty cool to hop in a car and drive 3 days to come down and hang out with some buddies in the woods. I got to say, it's pretty fucking awesome. But it's the weirdest thing in the world.
I'm excited to hang out. So I kind of told Tim, but we rented our spot through the middle of November,
Right.
and we're like 20 minutes from here. We're not necessarily going to stay till the middle of November, but we have the ability to come down here and kind of be eyes on the ground for him if he wants something delivered or changed, do work here and there. I'm excited for you to leave.
What an asshole.
And
I know.
see
When I come back.
when you come back.
Oh, yeah.
And walk around with you and say, "Hey Tim, what do you think?"
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's
for
what
that.
I'm
I
excited
know.
for.
I
Because
am
you're
too.
coming for 7 weeks next time.
Yes, I am. I'm fucking excited about
And
that
if
too.
you can see what I could get done, or if Carrie stops by, or somebody wants to come and work, and
Mm-hmm.
we've got 2 or 3 guys, I want you to see the progress that was made over just, picking at it a little bit. And then you're going to be here for a concentrated time with a focus on not necessarily just working on this because you got other events to go do, but the time you're here is going to be here to work on your
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Like here, we're just kind of scoping it out. But when you get to focusing on a goal, it gets exciting.
I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
So we haven't really talked utilities much. We have power running through here.
Right. We were excited. Yeah, we would.
So
Yeah.
what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I would be happy with solar and whatever, but the other half, my better half, definitely wants
The boss.
grid tie. Yeah, so we'll definitely have some solar to back it up, of course. But I mean, if it's here, I think we're foolish probably not to hook into it at some point, because all the work's done. The big cost is done. So, I mean, what would we need to get to the place where we want? How many poles would we need up there? A
Yeah,
couple, maybe?
That's a job for a rolling measuring tape.
Right.
Do
But
they
what it
run underground here, or do you go all
must be
poles?
above ground, wouldn't it be?
It's
Or?
probably mostly above ground, but I mean, if you hired a contractor to do it, I'm sure you can get it done underground.
I suppose,
I
yeah.
mean, it would be nice with
I know
tree
why-
cover and the way the storms can be to not have your lines ripped down. Also, it depends. So it depends on the utility around here, but it's important to find out. So let's say where your camera stand is, if that
Yep.
was your pole, your first pole, and then we're going up the ridge, is the do you have responsibility between that pole and the structure?
Or are they to the
or
first?
do they?
Yeah, okay.
Because everyone's different, so
Right.
you have to find out. Yep.
Because it's, I don't know, what is it, 500 feet between poles or something? I mean, that's a long,
That's a long.
and the
yeah.
property's only what, 700 from front? No, 2,000, what is it?
1,200.
1,200.
I'd say
So,
about 300 feet to that next pole.
okay. So even one or two poles at the most to get up to where we want to be. Because I don't think the outbuildings or the bunkhouses.
Oh no, I
will-
think if you had your comfortable cabin,
Yeah,
and then the rest being off,
yeah. Because you could easily set them up with 3 or 4 200-watt panels on the roof, or whatever, right? Or not anything
or
at all.
a candle and a wood stove.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I would keep those bunkhouses real simple because
Primitive.
you
Yeah.
come out to a place like this, people are going to be happy to be in the dry.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
know, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
huge. So
A bed, a
Yeah.
dry roof, and a candle, and maybe some heat if it's because I think it'd be gorgeous here in November.
Oh.
yeah,
And my biggest concern, and maybe it won't be that big of a concern, but I want to make them durable. So like, we're not going to put a wood stove in there with a glass door in it because some
Oh,
kid
no,
some
yeah.
kid goes in there and they're like, some yahoo running up and down wherever, because I'm sure it happens anywhere, right? You got property that's unlooked at, So don't bother locking the doors, leave it open so people can come and go,
Yeah.
but just make it so people aren't going to destroy it,
And it is nice. You have somebody at the end of the road here.
Yep,
You have
people that
somebody at this
watch.
end. You got a full time on the easement in.
Yep.
You got a full time on the end of the easement, and it's obvious people are building here.
Right.
I mean, there's cut-in driveways. There's building supplies up at another property here. So
Somebody who
there's-
posted their property
there's
there, yeah.
people around, and
they're
that's
gonna know an
nice.
unfamiliar
Yeah,
car,
yeah.
so,
That's nice.
yeah.
I think it looks like it's got the potential to be a kind of a cool little area down here at some point.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I'm stoked.
I would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I got eyes on it before you did, and I got excited for you.
well,
I
it's-
really did. I mean, it was like walking around, and you had kind of told me. I asked you before I walked it, what your plans were, and your
Right.
plan was kind of a center bunkhouse and kind of a wheel and spoke.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I walked around here by myself that day, I would stop at a clearing, and I'm like, oh, this is big enough for a main cabin, even if you wanted it 30 by 30.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'd walk a little further, and I was like, wait, I just walked down a little path to this other clearing where it'd be a great spot for a bunkhouse. Oh, and then there's another path almost already cleared, like Carrie was saying, you just naturally walk through there. The deer have walked through there, the game have walked through there. And it just makes sense.
And they're all at slightly different elevations. It's really cool.
And then you got the one on the point
yeah.
at the very top that overlooks all the gullies and overlooks all the stuff. And
Yeah, and I think even the nearest cabin site we were discussing, I don't think you're really going to be able to see it from the road.
No, I don't think
maybe
so.
dead of winter
Maybe,
when everything drops,
but yeah, this time of year it's going to be,
you'd probably be 5 feet from it and not see
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I mean, you can't even tell there's. Yeah, we're right here, and it's well overgrown. Even with the deadfall, it's going to be tough to see anything, isn't it?
yeah.
Well, boys, what do you think? It's kind of hot here, isn't it? It's
Getting warm.
nice. Yeah, I got a nasty old sunburn on the top of my forehead yesterday, so because I haven't seen UV in I don't know, 17 months or something, or however long winter lasts in Canada. I mean, to the point where I drove through the worst winter storm of the year on 420 coming down here. So, and I wasn't high. I wasn't.
sure?
So I don't think.
You were
Maybe
seeing shit.
I might have. Yeah, it might have been that legal Canadian weed again, right? So it's just everywhere,
You
right?
smoked it
So-
all before you got across the border, and
I
it
didn't
made
even-
you see snow.
I didn't even have to smoke it. I was just driving through clouds. You'd go through these small towns of hippies and be like, oh, yeah, it's 420, So how do people find you, Carrie Brown?
StrongRootsResources.com is the hub for everything that I do.
And then an occasional an occasional guest on the Workshop podcast where we talk about Ferengi or
Ferengi or
Art Bell or
who
what
the
it-
hell knows,
yeah,
really.
anything and everything. We're gonna have to do a roundtable some night with a bunch of us. It'll be
Yep.
fun. So
Have to have a nerdy round table.
I would like that. So how about you, you hippie-looking son of a bitch? Who are you?
I'm Brian.
From where? Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Okay.
No, actually New York.
Okay, soon to be South Dakota.
Soon to be South Dakota resident. I'm Brian from the Lots Project. Basically traveling around the country in an RV with my wife and 3 St. Bernards. Gonna stick around here for a little bit, work on Tim's property, help people figure out if they can use their secondary property or extra space to put in hip camps and make a little side money or do some development and maybe rent them out privately. I just give people ideas, and I do that across the board, whether it's hip camp property, business ideas, I troubleshoot that. You can go to my website, thelotsproject.com. There's a free 30-minute consultation. So poke around. If there's something that you think I might be able to help you with, let's just bullshit for a half an hour. And if I can't, we got to meet each other and have fun. And if we can, I can help you. We'll set something up and go from there. So
Fucking right, dude.
thelotsproject.com.
thelotsproject.com and strongrootsresources.com.
Yes, sir.
I can't remember what I used to call it something wrong every time. I think the first time I posted it when you were the community member spotlight or whatever, I think I put the whole wrong website up there, and then I realized, I don't know what I called it,
It's
but
all good.
I'm good like that. But we got you now. So, all right, folks, thanks for dropping by, and as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week. So you know what's cool about this microphone? It also records. So this microphone recorded everything we said the whole time. It has built-in audio.
Oh, nice.
So if we lose the video altogether, I've
got
got
audio
crystal
track.
clear audio here too.
Nice.
It's just a concrete, and that's what she does. She's a
I can't believe she put her. You put only your name on it?
That's dirty.
Whose fucking idea was it?
I don't know. I don't know what Becky would say if I came home with just some lady's name on a gift. That's kind of. She's like, just shut up, Tim.